Here's the best push-up progression you're not using. Do you think you're too strong for push-ups? Think again. Calisthenics plus weights equals the best of both worlds. Let's begin with the proper setup for weighted push-ups. It's important we choose a height of hand and feet elevation because this allows us to use a full range of motion with added weights. Dip bars are the ideal training equipment thanks to the use of the neutral grip. This setup is non-stressful and easy on the wrist joints. The other advantage is it's fast to adjust the height of the dip bars to find the setup that suits you. Lastly, using the dip bars just feels really damn nice on the shoulders. Getting the setup correct is absolutely crucial for weighted push-up success. I encourage you to use a horizontal or slight decline posture. This is the best approach. By getting into the optimal alignment, this ensures the belt remains in the correct position. Speaking of which, here's how. But first, smash that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. Where you place the belt on your back is going to make or break your results. Let me coach you through it. Correct setup is simple. Place the belt over the mid-back. This provides an even load distribution and ensures success. With weighted push-ups, our goal is to increase horizontal pushing strength. By having the belt on the mid-back, this is going to ensure that we're working directly against the resistance in the horizontal plane. A common mistake is placing the belt over the lower back. This isn't ideal because it's high risk and low reward. Here's why. Having the belt over the lower back increases the stress to our lumbar spine unnecessarily. Generally, this happens when people can't maintain full body tension. As a result of sloppy technique, the dip belt slides progressively lower onto the lower back. Generally, this happens when people set up at an incline and the belt slides down progressively. Or when trunk strength is a limiting factor, this is when people go too heavy on their push-ups and then their form gets sloppy globally. The final detail is how to properly secure the weight relative to your body. For optimal weighted push-ups, I recommend having the weight closer towards the body. With this setup, the loading is going to be more directly up and down, and it's going to enhance stability. An innocent mistake that people make is having the weight too far from the body and too far from the chain. Firstly, it limits our output and subsequent performance, and secondly, it increases our injury risk due to the unstable environment. Guys, what makes the push-up such an excellent exercise is the organic scapular motion. Here's the basics of perfect push-up explained. We want to pinch our shoulder blades together, scapular retraction on the way down, followed by scapular protraction, spreading the shoulder blades away, going up. The ability of the scapula to move through a full range of motion is the major benefit of the weighted push-up. This is where the push-up exercise shines compared to something like a bench press. That scapula is free to move. The incorrect way to do weighted push-ups is having the weight plate directly on the back. The downside with this is, number one, you need a partner to place the weight on your back when you're going heavy. Number two, having the plate on your back actually interferes with the scapular motion. The weight plate doesn't allow our shoulder blades to move through a full range of motion. Final downside with this setup is it requires us to flare our elbows. Body alignment is an important part of weighted push-ups. Here's what you need to know. Correct push-ups require our full body to be rigid. This is important for both safety and also targeting the prime mover muscles. Here's a fast technique checklist. Legs straight, glutes clenched, and ab tension for global stability. Once our posture is locked and loaded, we're all set to succeed long term. Injury is less likely because our muscles are going to be bearing the burden of the exercise. Expect to increase size in the chest, shoulders, and also triceps. So, how deep should you push up? Here's the considerations and compromises for both range of motions. Your first option is using a massive range of motion, the deepest push-up you possibly can. The advantage, you're getting a full stretch through the prime mover muscles. Gaining muscle and increasing mobility at the same time is a big advantage of deep push-ups. The disadvantage is you can't go as heavy and you need to reduce absolute loads. The reality is deep push-ups are humbling. Increased range of motion requires us to use significantly lighter loads. Expect the ego to be checked if genuinely going deep. Intensity or difficulty in relation to range of motion can be seen on a sliding scale. As range of motion increases, absolute weight loads inherently reduce. Option 2 is 90 degrees range of motion. The advantage of this technique is we're much stronger at the mid-range. When doing push-ups to around 90 degrees, we're going to be able to demonstrate our full potential. This is because our muscles are being challenged at their mid-range of motion, their mid-length. We know from basic exercise science that muscle force production is dependent on muscle length. When we're at a mid-stretch, such as 90 degrees of shoulder extension in the push-up, the cross bridges in the working muscles are at their optimal length to create tension. The good news is we're able to go significantly heavier with this amount of depth. Expect to throw around heavier weights as a byproduct of your enhanced force-length relationship. The downside with training our strongest range is impatience. I'm probably not the only one guilty of the progression at all costs mindset. Forcing weight increases session to session simply isn't sustainable. I find when sticking to around 90 degrees range of motion, the allure of ego lifting increases. It's in our DNA wanting to go heavier and heavier. Injury risk rises, technique breakdown is likely, and things just feel awkward without correct load selection. I encourage you to weigh up the pros and cons of push-up depth. It's then your responsibility to choose what suits your situation and train wisely. Rings are a Fitness FAQ's favorite when it comes to the calisthenics push-up. Here's some unique benefits that only the rings offer. What makes rings unique and ultimately effective is the non-fixed setup. For those of you that have limited flexibility in your upper body and at the shoulder specifically, you're not going to be restricted by your mobility levels. This is because the rings are free to move, they conform to your body and your level of mobility. This makes the rings feel awesome when it comes to push-ups. Another advantage of rings is the ability to use variation in a pain-free, safe, and effective manner. The Bulgarian push-up with the elbows flared in the scapular plane is a chest-focused push-up for size gain and hypertrophy bias of this muscle. Your standard shoulder width targets more of the triceps and has a general strength transfer to conventional calisthenics exercises. The unique ability of the rings is how effective they are at targeting the stabilizer muscles. Increased rotator cuff activation is built into the ring push-up automatically. This is great because we're working those stabilizer muscles during the push-up. Because the rings are free to move, it forces us to slow down and control the movement. As a result, our muscles work harder, they get stronger and bigger in the process due to the strict form that's built in with rings. Another great aspect of ring push-ups is full range of motion at the lockout is forced when you're turning the rings out. Unlike normal push-ups, you're much less likely to cheat when using rings. When you turn the thumbs out, you either are or you aren't locking out. It's clear as day if you're doing it correct or you're doing it incorrect. The final advantage of rings for calisthenics in general is anywhere, anytime training. This means if you don't have access to a park or your gym closes because of certain environment conditions, no problem, mate. You can keep making gains regardless of the circumstances. Here's a summary of why you should consider weighted push-ups in your calisthenics training. Long-term progress is built in. This makes it a valuable variation. The advantage of weighted push-ups is you can pick your intensity and pick your challenge. Moderate to high reps for mass, lower reps for strength gain. As you've seen from today, the push-up doesn't have to be only an endurance exercise, especially when you become more advanced. The weighted push-up shines because you can continue building strength and size by progressively overloading the weight used in your push-ups. This makes it an excellent supplementary movement for your other pushing exercises such as your overhead press and dips. Awesome everyone, I can't wait to see more of you training the weighted push-up. As always, go ahead and click subscribe and hit that notification bell to never miss one of our new videos. Otherwise, check out some more calisthenics content and I'll see you here soon on Fitness FAQs.